everybody, it's Saturday, it's Adam and Sam, and that means it's time for news. How you doing, Sam?
Oh, I'm grand, mate. It was one of those days, one of those weird days where I came in and there was just actual loads of news. And I was like, best get typing it up.
Loads to talk about today, isn't there? Very excited to do so. Let's not waste any more time.
It's a great honour.
With an awkward intro.
You know, I just want to thank the Academy and my man and God up there.
Headlines. Bayley has suffered a severe injury and is out for 9 months. Some big NXT call-ups debuting on last night's SmackDown. And lots of changes to the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. We'll tell you everything you need to know now.
No! I don't know why that tickled me so much.
Right, we'll crack straight on with it. Bayley, not so to laugh about now, unfortunately. Yeah. WWE issuing a statement yesterday. As you will have heard all about this. Bayley is injured. She is out for 9 months. We got a few more details on what went down. The WWE statement said, WWE has learned that Bayley sustained an injury while training for her Money in the Bank match against Bianca Belair and will be out for approximately 9 months. They teased a suitable replacement being found for the SmackDown Women's title match on last night's SmackDown. We'll get to all of that in a bit. But the update from Mike Johnson saying that the injury occurred during a training session earlier in the week, and this will be to do with the compulsory training sessions that all the WWE stars had to do as WWE returned to the road.
Mike Johnson kind of got out there first with it, and he was like, the word going around is that it's an ACL tear. And then Fightful Select jumped in with some more details, and as you were right, it was a complete freak accident. It's being referred to during the mandatory return to the road training sessions they've got going on. But apparently it occurred during a chain wrestling sequence, just completely out of nowhere. Like, it took, a 1,000,000 to 1 chance that it could have happened, and it happened. So it's just one of these horrible situations, and hopefully Bayley's going to be fine. She'll be back, and it'll be a complete waste if they don't bring her back in some way when she is ready to do so. Obviously not to compete straight away, because she's got to have she's going to need time off to heal, but she's so good on the mic, you'd expect them to kind of have her back in some way.
Maybe, but you've also got to think, like, she's been incredible over the pandemic era. She's sort of she's one of the wrestlers who have held the show together many points over the past year and a bit. But you can imagine that pop when she comes back. I think I want to wait the full 9 months personally. Because it sucks for her, because she's done so much not in front of a crowd, and now literally the week before we return to bloody proper full wrestling crowds, she gets injured, and so she's going to be the biggest babyface in the world when she comes back, and that's going to be awesome. It just really, really sucks. We can sit here and blab on for the next 20 minutes if you want about how great Bayley's been, all the great matches she's
Everybody
had, how
knows
she's developed
how
her character.
Bayley is.
She's class. She's class. We send her our best. Get well soon, Bayley, because you have been excellent, and thank you for everything that you've done. I'm sure she's definitely watching. Next up, a title match scrapped from Money in the Bank. Of course, Belair no longer defending her title on the Money in the Bank card. Due to Bayley's injury. She won't be facing Bayley, of course. She will instead defend her title against Carmella on the July 16th edition of SmackDown. This will be the first WWE show in front of a live crowd since WrestleMania. So it doesn't look like we get it. They might do a screwy finish and give it to us at the pay-per-view.
Maybe, they probably will. But at the same time, in a way, if the match goes off, as planned without a hitch, and we don't get it pop up on the pay-per-view, it's still a very big moment. This, this first live show may as well be a pay-per-view, because it's going to be such an atmosphere. Fingers crossed. It's going to just be cathartic to get out all of that shouting and anger and aggression from the last year and a half, and have fun watching some wrestling. So it's going to be a great night, and you've got to imagine the card's going to be good too. I'm feeling good today, mate. I got up early and I was like,
Okay, as long as you're all right. Next up, some big NXT call-ups on last night's SmackDown. Who we got?
So Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart debuted last night, and they scored a win over women's tag champions Natalya and Tamina.
Non-title.
Yes, it was a non-title match. It was stated before the match that the champions would be facing a brand new team, and in the end, Blackheart picked up the win with her ball pit senton. Now, both Nox and Blackheart had worked the dark matches, so this is obviously, as we were saying about the dark matches, it's not an indicator that every single person's going to be called up, but maybe this time it actually is. So
yeah, it really does look like it. I thought that was definitely Nox proper back on NXT. I mean, this is very much a case of needs must. You just lost one of your biggest stars for 9 months. And there is a little bit of lack of roster depth on the women's side of things over on SmackDown. And so this'll beef things up nicely.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
An interesting note that they were referred to as just Shotzi and Nox when they were debuting, but then commentary went on to use their full names too. So we don't know if they've been vinced. Basically, we don't know if they've lost their. I
mean, it's those two names especially. Like they'll just shorten even further to Shot and Nox with the CKS, and just they'll all be about punching and getting shots in. And they'll not have
because
they're
angry
names.
like Sam.
Yeah,
Samgry. But that's not it, is it? It's not just that. There's another call-up coming very, very soon.
So this is what I meant was usually, as we said in the dark match scenarios, maybe one or two of the names will pop up, but no, because Toni Storm was another name that was appearing in the dark matches and is now getting teased with a vignette and everything, like a big teaser for Toni Storm. And it comes up at the end with, I guess, her logo. WWE kind of makes the Tron logos. It just comes up with her name and then coming soon to SmackDown. So, I mean, this is huge, really. She's former NXT UK champion. She's challenged for the NXT title as well, but it was unsuccessful. But, I mean, former Mae Young Classic winner, a Mae Young Classic winner. This is a huge get for SmackDown. I think Toni Storm fits perfectly with the presentation style and the wrestling style that SmackDown likes to convey. So this is, just more depth, as you said, to the women's side of the roster. And I guess we're just going to wait for Scarlett, Cross, and everybody else who's had tryouts to just rock up when the time's right.
For sure. It's looking good. Also looking good. Men's Money in the Bank match has been finalised. And a switch made in the women's. What's going down?
So, yes, all 8 participants for the men's match are official, and we have on the men's side, in fact, I'll just quickly sum up the 2 qualifiers. So Seth Rollins and Shinsuke Nakamura both qualified after beating, Rollins defeated Cesaro, and Nakamura beat Corbin. And so that means the men's field is filled out with Ricochet, Morrison, Riddle, Drew, Big E, Owens, Nakamura, and Rollins. But because of Carmella being in the Money in the Bank ladder match, and everything's kind of been skeweth because of Bayley's injury, and now Carmella's going to be facing Belair, Liv Morgan has stepped in to replace Carmella. But there are still...
She was always gonna be in there, wasn't she?
There are still 2 slots open, though, on the women's side. So the women's match, as it stands, is Asuka, Naomi, Alexa, Nikki Cross, Liv Morgan, Zelina Vega, TBD, and TBD. So
it's not a new wrestler. That means to be determined. Well, fingers crossed those women's slots get filled. Finally, WWE announcing additional dates on the live touring schedule. They are back on the road. We've got the full list right now, kicking off on Saturday, September 11th in the Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. Then they're off to Albany, New York on the Sunday, Monday in Boston, Massachusetts. We got Friday in the State Farm Arena in Atlanta. North Charleston Coliseum up next on Saturday, the 18th in North Charleston, South Carolina. It's just the abbreviations.
It's such a test, isn't it?
This
every single time.
I've got this. The James Brown Arena in Augusta, Georgia. We got the PNC Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina. The Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We've got the Giant Center in Hershey, Pennsylvania. We've got the Nationwide Arena in Columbus, Ohio, and the Heritage Bank Center in Cincinnati, Ohio. I've nailed it. Hopefully, wherever you live is on that list.
There are some sneaky details in this list that weren't conveyed there.
Sorry.
So, you have, obviously, Raw, SmackDown, and WWE live events, but there are also several dates listed as Super Show. And the Super Show, when you click through on the website, it looks like it's kind of like a mega house show. I don't know if it's going to go as far as one of those things they put on the network, but it looks like, kind of when they did Starrcade and it's sort of like a bigger house show type deal. But then on top of that, on Sunday, September 26th, from the Nationwide Arena in Columbus, Ohio, we have Extreme Rules. Date confirmed. Oh, you ready for chairs and tables and rule following?
Yeah, no, I like Extreme Rules. Very exciting. Stephanie McMahon did an interview with Variety saying that there's a few changes coming to these live shows as well.
Yeah, so she promised just some different stuff, but we're going to have a new set design, a new presentation of our talents, different locations and arena setups. We're going to be utilizing augmented reality, their new favorite toy, in a way we never have before. We experimented with it a lot during the Thunderdome, but it's now going to be incorporated into our talent entrances. They're also going to be animated graphics. It's going to be so exciting and so different than anything we've done before. They have the AR already on TV.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
don't
used on
understand.
pay-per-views.
It's going to be incorporated into our talent entrances. That's why they use it
every
now,
entrance.
primarily.
Here's a big Roman Reigns.
Are they saying they're doing this for live crowds? And that's going to be on the screens for the live crowds as well. Is that the deal?
Maybe, but I'd imagine it'll just be a case of when we get back to SmackDown and Raw. I imagine it's just going to be more polished AR. Maybe there were times when the AR looked a bit kind of oof. That looked like a test render, and there were times where you could tell they were still trying to get it right and everything. So fingers crossed they've worked out a cool way to implement it. But it really does just seem like it's going to be the pay-per-view setup with a new set and maybe some nice new backstage interview areas that aren't quarter of a ring. And
stay tuned. You'll know if you live in Augusta, Georgia. You'll be seeing them very, very soon. Thank you very much. That's been us. We'll be back in a couple of hours with another news video. All the best. Take care. In a bit.